Hi, everybody. Dan Lovallo here for Baseball Discourse. I thought I would share with you some of the material that I use to do my baseball research. And I have several go to sites, but perhaps my number one go to site is baseball reference.com because there's so much information. It's chock filled with player bios, player statistics, leaders per season. I mean, there's a paid version and there's a non-paid version. I have the non-paid version, but even with the non-paid version, it's just loaded with information. You could look up various players, and well, let's take a look. You just put in Carlos Beltran, right? Just elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. No, Carlos Beltran. Boom, and you see. First year was with the Kansas City Royals. All you got to do is scroll and look at all the information, click on it in his name, and it's just scroll down. All his career right here, his Hall of Fame career right here. Rookie of the Year, 1999, his first full year. Broke in, played 14 games with the Royals in 1998. MVP voting came in ninth in 2003. In 2004, he was an All-Star again. MVP voting, and it just gives an entire rundown on his career. I mean, back in the day, we had the Baseball Encyclopedia, and I'm old enough to remember the Baseball Encyclopedia. I have a first edition copy in my bookcase, but it was just the go-to. I mean, you would take the Baseball Encyclopedia and go to a friend's house, and as I would, and we would sit down for hours over a, let's say, adult beverage and just thumb through the pages. Look at this player, look at that player. And now you have it all at your fingertips. I mean, I'm on a computer, a desktop computer, but my goodness, you could use anything really. I mean, your phone, your iPad, your tablet. If you're using an Android, it's just all at your fingertips. So that is one of my go-to sites, baseball-reference.com. And then I have another go-to site I'm constantly looking up games here, and that's retrosheet.org. Particularly if you go on YouTube and they show all these old games and you want to put that into context, then what I do is I'll log into Retrosheet and you can look up games, regular season. Well, let's look at 1978, very historic season. That's the year the Red Sox blew the division to the Yankees. Yankees were 14 games out, and they rallied to beat the Red Sox, winning that one-game playoff at Fenway. And there you see 1978 right there. Just a wild season. But you can pick out a date. Let's pick out a date. June 21st, Wednesday, June 21st, Yankees playing the Red Sox, Fenway Park. That's a famous game. That's the Jim Beattie game where Beattie gets clobbered, and the Yankees lose to the Red Sox 9-1. You can click on that. You've got the box score of that game, and I love these box scores. They're not the extensive box scores you have today. I mean, it just gives you information here that stands the test of time. You see, for example, that Beattie gets knocked out after giving up 5 runs in 2 innings, and that was the game, by the way, where George Steinbrenner, I believe he was at that game, and he was there with the Yankees president, Al Rosen, and the general manager, Cedric Tallis, and he said to either Rosen or Tallis, or maybe both, get this guy out of here, meaning Beattie, send him back to Columbus before he gets hurt, because the Red Sox were clobbering him. And there you see the Red Sox win the game by the score of 9-2. It was 7-0 after the first 3 innings of the game. And what resulted in Beattie's departure was the 3rd inning when he got hammered, because you see the Red Sox scored 6 runs in that inning, and the first 4 runs of that inning were charged to Beattie, but he pitched into the 3rd, but couldn't retire a batter in the 3rd inning, and that's when Steinbrenner said, get him out of there. But that's what I mean about this website, loaded with information. Incidentally, you can go down and you see the standings on that date. After that game, the Yankees were 8 games out of first, and the Red Sox were, after 68 games, 16 games over 500. I think they got to, at one point, 26 games over 500. 26 games over 500. I think at one point they got over 30 games above 500 and were running away with the division. And the Yankees were 14 games out. And here the Yankees, I mean, in this day and age, that might qualify the Yankees for the postseason with all these wild cards. But back then, they were 38-28, tied with the Brewers, 8 games out. The Orioles were 7 games out, and the Red Sox were running away with the division. But that's what I like about this particular website, and there are many volunteers who contribute to RetroSheet, I can tell you that. But those are a couple of my favorites that I like to go to, baseball-reference.com and retrosheet.org. I have others as well, but those are my 2 favorites, and I hope that you use them too. Many of you perhaps know about these websites. If you don't, I hope this has helped to educate you. And as always, thanks for subscribing to Baseball Discourse.